This is Robert Mendez from Cloud Connect 2012. About the end of the day on Tuesday. We're here with Alistair Croll from Bitcurrent, and welcome, Alex. Alistair, tell us a little bit about Bitcurrent and how that...
It's a weird company. We're sort of an analyst firm. We write reports, we write books, we help figure out what content's going to be interesting and then help find the interesting controversies in that content and work with companies like TechRub to put those conferences on.
Okay. And I know you gave a speech earlier today, and I know you look at things from a lot of different perspectives. Have you seen anything over the last couple of days that's piqued your interest, or anything that you want to chat with the audience?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the great things about Cloud Connect is it's really an early radar for the industry. One of the big things that I think is going to change the world in a year or two, but is not obvious yet, is that we know in the old days you used to send the data to the computer, right? The idea of an upload and a download. That's changing. Now we're sending the computer to the data. And that's a big difference, right? I have terabytes of data in a central repository, and I'm sending a virtual machine there to go chew on it. I mean, it's important to remember that when Amazon created their cloud service called S3, they built that first, and then they built the virtual machine service around it. So that's a very different world, right? We've got 50 years of uploads and downloads, and now it's going to be my data's in one place, and I'm sending things to it to chew on that information. That's going to upend, I think, the whole IT industry.
Okay. So that sounds like a terrific challenge. Are there any other challenges that you want to mention, or risks that you see that, I mean, we've heard different perspectives as far as at what speed we're traveling at, this pathway to portability.
Sure.
Where do you see that? Do you see critical mass happening in any areas particularly soon?
Well, I think one of the things that's happening is a cultural change. 10 years ago, everyone said, don't put your name on the internet. Why would you do that? And today we like and tweet that we're not at home. Yeah. So one of the big changes is I walk into the office today, I know more about what my friends had for dinner than whether I'm going to make my sales numbers or where my fleet is. And that expectation cannot last. So people have put corporate IT on notice that if they don't become competitive, they're going to get bypassed. And I think it really is the end of the monopoly that enterprise IT's had for the last 50 years.
Wow, that is really an interesting comment, and we talk an awful lot about, in my world, about unstructured data, about emails and Twitter accounts and the social network and all the data that's out there. How do we rein that in? How do we make that useful, change it from maybe a lazy asset to something productive? Do you see that happening as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, big data gives cloud computing something to do. And I think once upon a time, we used to decide on the schema of the data first. You know, we'd say, I'm going to track widgets by sales rep, by city, by color. And if I hadn't tracked one of those dimensions, I couldn't analyze it. Today, we track everything, we just collect it all, and then we apply machine learning algorithms and systems like Hadoop to farm out the task of analyzing those things to thousands and thousands of machines so we can get real-time answers. And that means the exploration of data is much more iterative, much more interactive, and you can find those hidden gems that everyone talks about. And it really is the first time that we've had the technology to do that stuff and the ability to connect together public and private data sets to find that information.
If you had to break it down with your message and with what you see going on, what are the three top points of interest, I guess, for the users out there, for the business guys, for the guys that are used to working on local area networks and that, where they see it going? Can you summarize it for us?
Sure, I'd say the first is an economic decision, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same model as buying a car when you live in a town versus renting a car when you're in another city. You wouldn't buy a car when you're in San Jose for 3 days. You probably wouldn't rent a car at home if you drove a lot. And so there's an economic decision to make that we all inherently understand for car rental. We haven't figured it out for clouds yet. When is it better to own the cloud? When is it better to rent the cloud? And that's going to work itself out as prices stabilize. The second one is a cultural issue. I see a lot of justified concern about cloud computing, security and governance, but I also see a lot of concern that's really just, I don't want to change my job. You know, I have 5 years from retirement, and so we got to learn that resistance is happening. I mean, we all use TCP/IP, and I remember people who said, I'm using Frame Relay and X25, that'll never, mix my packets with yours, no way. So there's a cultural change there. And then I think the third is a business model change. So clouds allow the cycle time to go from months of procurement and planning to experimentation within days or weeks. And so companies are going to have to iterate much, much more quickly and sort of get into these feedback loops where they can optimize their business. And those that do it are going to win, and those that don't are going to be out of business.
Want to share your URL for our users so they can come and visit and get it firsthand from you?
Sure. I mean, you can go to bitcurrent.com or you can go to cloudops.com. Either one of those is fine, and we spend a lot of time looking not only at cloud technology and how to implement it, but at the consequences of that stuff on society.
Well, this is, once again, Robert Mendez, NetHawk.tv. You've heard it from the experts here. Tune in for more on NetHawk.tv. Thanks.